revisit, you can do that as well. So today is day one of data science training. In this day, this session essentially, when we always think about how what this session is for, and one of the things that becomes really difficult is that when you have so many people, what do you do in the first session? And what we realize is that most of you are in this session if because you can possibly relate to this, right? Let me know in the chat window if you can relate to this, that you are in this session because you have been thinking about entering data science, machine learning, and AI for months, but haven't gotten any actionable advice on where to start and what to do. Let me know if you can relate to this, because possibly you would have watched some videos on YouTube, you would have signed up for a few courses on Coursera, you would have read something in the newspaper, you would have done some training of training in your internal company portal. But the more you would have done that, the more you realize, the more confused you get, because someone writes that you should learn AI, then somebody says that you should learn data science, and then somebody says you should learn Python, and then somebody says you should learn R, and somebody says that SAS is the thing that you should learn, and you feel absolutely confused that what is the exact step, what are recruiters looking for, and how, more importantly, not only learning, but how with 10, 15 or 20 or 5 years of experience, how can I make the switch from my current domain to this super exciting field of data science and machine learning, right? All right, so exactly, and everybody is saying that absolutely, I can totally relate to it, right? Awesome, great. So here's what we are going to do in today's session. In today's session, what we are going to start with is we look at the opportunities in the field of data science. And the whole reason we are talking about data science is because you want to catch on to this wave. You want to be among the early movers in this space, and you would want to have those fat salaries, more exciting work. And that's the reason that on a Saturday morning you are here with me in the session when you could have been doing 100 different things. The second part, and this is the core of today's session, is we would look at what is data science in a very deep way. My goal here is not only to just give you what is data science, but to also take you very deep into data science, so that if you think about starting about data science, you exactly know that these are the things that I need to master, right? And if you just listen or go through this training, especially this part, very closely, you will have absolute clarity about what are the things that you need to master. And then how about doing a case study? How many of you would want to become a data scientist in the session for, say, 20 minutes? And why that is challenging is possibly you don't know anything about data science, but how many of you would want to become a data scientist in the session, in the sense that you would want to do a case study, number one, and you would want to become you would want to solve a real world problem? Because my goal in today's session is this session will become very inspiring if you can actually do a case study end to end, and you are able to see what are the various steps in the entire data science project lifecycle. And if you have that clarity, you can get started as a data scientist right from day one, because you know how the entire process works, right? And in the end, I'll talk about the Insaid Vision scholarships that makes it super affordable for anyone, irrespective of their financial background, to be able to upskill in data science and machine learning and AI. And I will talk about these scholarships and how these scholarships can help you. And I'll also since we have reserved these scholarships for today's training, and those of you who are attending this training and who are there with me right now, we have reserved a couple of scholarships for those of you here in the session, and we'll be giving out these scholarships in the session today itself. So you don't have to wait for another 10 days to know about scholarships. We'll be giving out these scholarships in the session in the very end, right? So that's about it in today's session. In tomorrow's session, we'll be covering machine learning live training, and this is very important if you want to know more about machine learning algorithms and how machine learning algorithms can solve different business problems, right? So this is a little bit about me and my journey into data science, I started my journey into data science in the year 2014. So this is the year when I heard, when this is the year when I was doing my MBA from ISB. This is where I have done my MBA from ISB Hyderabad. And we were sitting in a class, in a class which was being taught by a University of California, Berkeley professor. Very amazing professor, very good professor. And in the class, the professor mentioned a term called data science. And that time we were like, what is it, like physics, or is it like what does science have to do with data, right? And that is the year, that is the class that in which this professor from Berkeley mentioned and told us, and that's something that stuck with me, and that was my start into the field of data science, was that he said that this is going to be the field of future. And we were like, why? And this was your pre-data days, when this Reliance Geo data revolution had not started. Today, when we talk about data science, it seems very obvious, right? That you have a lot of data and you need to make sense out of that data. But that time, data was not the in thing like the way it is now. And the professor just mentioned that there are 2 or 3 things that you need to look for. And those are the trends. That is the volume of data going to explode over the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and even 100 years? And we were like, yes, right? And his next question was that, is only just data collection enough, or do you need to go beyond that? And we were like, yes, beyond data collection, beyond what we call DC, what you need to do is DA, what is data analysis, right? And beyond data analysis, what he said is there is one more thing that is going to be very powerful for future, called machine learning. And again, this was way back in 2014, when I had not even heard about the term machine learning. And we were like, what is machine learning? All he said is that machine learning helps you predict anything, right? If you have data, if you have collected this data, if you have analyzed this data, you can predict things to data. And this is how my journey into data science started, in a very, very interesting way, when I realized that this is what is really, really exciting, because you get to think critically, you get to dive into data, and you also get to do amazing predictions. Over a period of time, my research areas changed from, say, data science now to a field of AI called machine vision and computer vision. And I believe that the future of humanity is when machines are, what makes us real humans is, imagine for a day you do not have your eyes, and how would you as a human being live? It was almost impossible to see this beautiful world without eyes. And this is what is happening in the field of AI today, something called computer vision, computers getting human eyes, that is computer vision. And this is my research area. This is a subfield of machine learning. And what I'll try to do in today's session is that, instead of talking about the jargon, I will try to make things very, very simple, very, very straightforward. And the whole goal is that whatever my learnings of being in this field over the last couple of years have been, I will try to share with you in today's session, right? So that's a little bit about me, and about my journey into the exciting field of data science. A little bit about Insaid. Insaid's mission is to groom data leaders of tomorrow and to put India on the global AI map. I will talk about Insaid's mission and how we are fulfilling this mission in innovative ways at the end, right? But let's jump right into the session, and let's talk about what is important to you, because this session is not about me. This session is about you, and this session is about what you can do in this particular field, right? So let's talk about, firstly, the buzz and the opportunities in the field of data science, right? So let's look at what is, first of all, happening in this world, because a lot of you would be new in this field of data science. And I would want to quickly know from you, first of all, that how many of you are attending today's this session for the first time? Type in FT in the chat window if you are attending this session for the first time, so that I have some idea that how much familiar you are with this field of data science, and I will try to cover it accordingly, right? FT. And if you have attended one of these sessions in the past that I have done, just type in something else, that second time or something of that sort, right? So most of the people are attending it for the first time. Awesome. Yeah. All right. So data scientists have, the job of a data scientist has been called the sexiest job of the 21st century by Harvard Business School. Harvard says that there has been no job in the world that has been in the history of humanity that has been as sexy as the job of the data scientist. As a data scientist, you get to work on exciting problems, you get to work on maths, you get to work on understanding business problem, and while doing that, you get paid a lot. On an average, data scientists get paid 2x of software engineers. So for example, the average software engineer salary in the US is approximately 65,000 USD, and the average data scientist job salary in the US is 120,000 USD. Now, again, there are highs and lows among this, but this is the average. The similar, in the similar way in India, because we are not only talking about US, we are talking about India. In India, the average software engineer salary is somewhere around 8 to 10 lakhs, and the average data scientist job salary is approximately 20 lakhs. Again, these are the averages. There are obviously highs and lows depending on the organization that you are working for. So Glassdoor called data scientists, a recent Glassdoor survey said that data scientists today are the most wanted hires in the US, right? And every company across the spectrum is recruiting for people in the space, right? Year on year, there has been a 400% increase in the demand for data scientists across the world, and this figure is even more prominent for India, which has a very good amount of talent in the IT sector, which can easily transition into the field of data scientists. A recent survey by LinkedIn said that among the 20 top most emerging jobs, at the top you have machine learning engineers and data scientists, where the demand over the last 3 years has exploded by 6 to 9 times. Now, my question to you guys is that when we look at such crazy figures that demand is increasing by 400%, 6 times, 9 times, is this demand only coming from IT companies? Because all of us, 90% of us attending this session come from IT companies, that's a fact. But is this demand only coming from IT companies, or is this demand for data scientists coming from other industries as well? And if it is coming from other industries, what do you think is the advantage that you would potentially have when you are upskilling in data science and machine learning? What do you think? What does it mean for you when you have skills in data science and machine learning? Because the more important question for you is that if there is demand from all other industries, what does it mean for you? All right. And I want you guys to take 10 seconds and think about it and type in the chat window, what does it mean for your career, right? When you have all of this demand, amazing demands coming for data science and scientists and machine learning engineers, right? So Avinash writes, this means that more opportunities. Very good. So what this essentially means is that a lot of you work in IT companies, right? And you would know that the growth in IT companies, some of you would know that you're working in Wipro, you're working in Infosys, TCS and all. So what you have is that even if you want to switch beyond IT, because the average appraisals today in IT industries, they are like 4%, 5%, 6%, 7%, right? So what you have is that the opportunities for you to even move into a data science role, carry your IT background into a company like Novartis, into a company like Ford, into a company like GE, just explode. and that means your career opportunities suddenly become very, very, very vast, right? Now, how do you make, now the bigger question is, how do you make that transition happen? That is something that we are going to look at, right? And these are some of the top companies. These are some of the companies which hired the highest number of data scientists in the year 2017, and they continue to do so in 2018. In fact, one of these companies, Vodafone, for example, had to move its data science practice when it was establishing it in India from Pune to Bangalore. And can you guys think that why did Vodafone, which was starting off its practice in Pune, had to move its office, this entire data science and analytics and AI practice, to Bangalore? The reason is simple, because they were not able to recruit at a fast enough rate, and that's why they moved this entire practice to Bangalore. And I know it because one of my friends from colleges, an MBA from IIM Kozhikode, set up this practice for Vodafone, and this is just one example. Then you have companies like Deloitte, Accenture, and all, which are setting up digital departments. How many of you are aware about the digital departments in your company? For example, if you work in TCS, you would have heard about TCS Digital. If you work in Wipro, you would have heard about Wipro Digital. Let me know in the chat window if you have heard about these digital. And Accenture has something called Accenture Digital, right? And what is interesting about these digital departments is that these digital departments pay on an average twice as compared to the rest of the companies, because the talent that is being hired and the culture you have in these digital departments is very, very different from the rest of the company. Yeah. So that is a little bit about what is happening in this entire scenario. Now, the question more importantly is, and this is to give a good wrap up of what is happening around the world. Now, the question more importantly is that how can you be part of this revolution? And this is why you are here in this session. Now, let's look at what are some of the key things that you need to master if you want to move to the world of data science, if you want to get into this field of data science. Now, there are three things that you need to master when you're looking at getting into data science. These three things are domain expertise, computer science, and maths. Now, I will take each one of this because this is the key of today's session, and we will look at what do you exactly need to do in each of these sessions. Now, when we talk about computer science, right? There are a lot of programming languages that you need to learn. You can choose from. For example, you have Python, you have R, you have SAS, you have Weka, you have RapidMiner, etc. Right? There are tons of programming languages that you can choose from. Now, even before we start talking about any of these programming languages, the more important question is that why do you need computer science in data science? What is the importance of computer science? Now, when you have data, when you have a lot of data, what you need is that you need ways in which you can do data manipulation, ways in which you can do data cleaning. You need softwares or platforms to do data analysis, and you need softwares and platforms to do machine learning. And this is where your understanding of one of these programming languages like Python, R, SAS comes into picture. You need to manipulate data, you need to clean data, you need to analyze data, collect data, and do machine learning. And that's why you need to master one of these areas. Now, my question to you guys is that how many of you are from programming background and how many of you are from non-programming background? Let me know in the chat window, because the question that always is that Manav, I am from testing background, I've not done programming. I am from, say, SQL background, I've not done directing programming. So type in programming or P in the chat window if you're from programming background, or if you're from non-programming background like testing, SAP, you're a project manager, you are a QA, or one of these areas. So type in NP. Yeah. All right, and some of you are product managers and program managers as well. So I see a fair split, 50-50 split between programmers and non-programmers. And how many of you, whenever you, those of you who are non-programmers, how many of you feel a little scared that now we need to learn programming again? And this is something which is not my cup of tea, because I can totally relate to it, because as an MBA, I had left programming long time back, and I was honestly not scared, but that is something that I always thought is not my cup of tea, right? This is something that possibly I don't enjoy that much, right? But in data science, what the difference is that here, remember, the first framework that we need to remember is that in data science, we are not doing programming to do software engineering. That's the first thing that we need to remember. We are not doing programming to do software engineering. We are doing programming to solve business problems. Give me a quick yes if this is clear to everyone. This is a very little but profound insight that all of you, irrespective of 15, 20, 25 years of experience, need to remember. We are not doing programming to do software engineering. We are doing programming to solve an actual business problem, right? That difference or switch in mindset is very, very important. Yeah. So here, nobody is saying that why don't you write this code in ASP.NET or Java and then, you know, do something of that sort. Our goal is not that. Our goal is to actually solve a business problem. And that's what, to solve a business problem, I have data. And to be able to do various things with that data, I need to be able to program, right? So when we talk about programming, there are various languages, as I mentioned, and the language that I always recommend people is that obviously you can go for any of these languages, and all of these languages are pretty good. But the language that I always recommend people is is Python, because Python is the #1 programming language for data scientists globally, right? Globally, even if you're a data scientist in Facebook, you possibly are using Python. Even if you're a data scientist at Google, you're using Python. Even if you're a data scientist at Accenture, you're using Python. And as a professional, you always want to learn something that is most widely used across the world, right? Now, a second question that a lot of people have is that, Manav, what all tools should we learn? How many of you have this question that should I learn one tool, two tools, or how many tools, right? Should I learn R also? Now, my always recommendation is that do not spread yourself thin. Always become your best in one thing. Become the best in one thing. Do not try to go for too many one tool. Do not try to go for too many tools, because here your expertise in too many tools is not important. What is important is how good or how well can you solve the problem through one tool. So even if you want to go for Python, good. Even if you want to go for R, good. Even if you want to go for RapidMiner, it's good. But try becoming the best in that particular tool, right? However, there are companies that will always say that Python is obviously #1. The second tool of choice for most recruiters is always R, right? And the best thing about Python, and one of the reasons why it is recommended, is that if I show you Python code, it almost feels like broken English. How many of you have seen Python code, or how many of you have ever coded in Python? Awesome, great. See, I see a lot of people have coded in Python. And do you guys know that, or remember that how easy it is to code in Python? That even school students, even if you show Python code to school students are also able to understand Python, because it is almost like broken English. It seems like broken English. And my always framework is, and this is what excites people, is that if you have always found Java very complicated, you will love Python, because Python is just in sharp contrast to Java, wherein Java is like code heavy and Python is almost like broken English, right? Okay. The second reason to use Python for data science is that Python, apart from being easy and easy to code and beautiful, is that Python has a lot of powerful packages that you would need, right? And I want you guys to let me know if you understand what packages and libraries are. I'm sure those of you who are from Informatica, testing, all of these backgrounds would already know what packages are. Now, what packages mean is that if I want to, for example, do data manipulation. Now, if I want to do data manipulation, I don't write code from scratch, right? So that's the power of these packages. All you have to do is you can do data manipulation using Python package, say pandas. If you want to do machine learning, and if I want to do, for example, build a machine learning model using decision trees, right? If I have to write code in, say, Java or any other programming language, do you know how many lines of code it would require? It would require me 100 lines of code minimum to implement a decision tree model. But how many lines of code do you think it would require me in Python if I want to implement a machine learning model like decision trees in Python, or linear regression in Python? Any guesses? And this will clearly show you how powerful Python is, right? 50, 30, 20, 15, absolutely. You will require only 5 lines of code. Can you believe that? And does it seem now interesting? And does it seem good even to non-programming folks? Let me know in the chat window if that seems great. And even if you're from non-programming background, now you're getting a feel, you feel that Manav, I think I can also write 5 lines of code. If Manav being an MBA can write 5 lines of code, I'm sure you guys who work in IT industry, you can actually write 5 lines of code. It's no big deal, right? So now the power of these packages is that when you have these powerful packages, your focus, right, is not on coding. Your focus is more on solving business problems, right? When you have these powerful packages. Another important benefit is that even if you're learning something like, even if you want to do AI, for example, how many of you want to learn artificial intelligence as well, computer vision, NLP, and some of these areas which my research areas are, and which are part of artificial intelligence, but something that some of you would want to learn, right? So if you want to go for AI also, you already have a Python library called TensorFlow, which is a Python library contributed to Python by Google, right? Google contributed TensorFlow to Python. That means now you don't need to learn things from scratch. You already are building upon your knowledge bank here, right? So the crux of the story is that in data science, you learn computer science, or you do computer science to do everything from data manipulation to machine learning to AI. And here your focus is not software engineering. Your focus is actually solving business problems through data. Let me know if this is clear, and if things have made sense so far, and if these small nuggets of wisdom you would remember even after doing this session. Let me know in the chat window if things are good and if this seems pretty good. Yeah. All right. Great. Pretty good. Great. So let's move to the second part of today's session, right? Which is second part of what you need to learn. The second part of what you need to learn is that you need to focus on maths. And this is what the heart of machine learning is. If you want to do machine learning, right, you need to do maths. If you want to do data analysis, you need to know maths. And one of the clear ways in which I can differentiate, since I have had the opportunity to interview hundreds of people for data science roles in the last couple of years, one of the differences I see between people who will do really well in data science is that how good they are at maths. So I will never look at how good they are at computer science. Obviously, that is a prerequisite, but how well they know their maths. Because if they know their maths inside out, that means if they're getting results of machine learning model, they're able to interpret those results really, really well. Now, exactly what do you need to learn in maths? In maths, you need to learn, the first thing that you need to focus on is you need to learn something called statistics. Now, what do you need to learn in statistics is what you need to learn two kind of statistics. First kind of statistics is descriptive statistics, and second kind of statistics is used for is called inferential statistics. Now, I want you guys to take 10 seconds, think about both DS and IS as a terminology, and let me know in the chat window, what do you think these two terms mean? And how do you think are they relevant for data science? DS is for descriptive statistics, and IS is for inferential statistics, right? Take some guesses. Again, try to relate to descriptive statistics, inferential statistics. How do you think that they are relevant in the field of data science? Because as I said, my goal is not to just give you information, but if I can make you think in this session, if I can make you think harder in this session and contribute back, then that is when I would know that this session is truly, truly successful. Yeah. Okay. Helps in prediction. They help in the data usage in tabular form. Data DSS, data related terms, not really. I want better answers, right? Descriptive for volume, grouping of sample data, very complicated answers. So somebody has now given a very good answer, which is very good. That descriptive is used to describe the data analyst. Absolutely. Omita Jain has given a very good answer. Descriptive is used to describe the data. Very good. Summary statistics. Very good. And inferential is used to infer results from the data. Now, what does that mean? How about doing a real world case study to help understand these two terminologies, and how as a data scientist you will actually be using that in real world? How about doing that right now, right? To help you understand that how statistics is exactly used, right? Let's look at this case study. Let's say that you've been hired as a data scientist at Citibank. Now you've gotten a data science job at Citibank. And since all of these companies, JP Morgan, Citibank, Bank of America, Barclays, DBS, all of them are hiring a lot of data science. Let's say that you've cracked your data scientist job. And the first problem that you have gotten is, as a data scientist, the first problem you have gotten is build a machine learning model to predict whether the next transaction is fraud or not. Let me know if this problem statement is clear to you, because you are the data scientist and you have been hired at Citibank, right? I think it's pretty simple. Fraud is something that is always perennially, banks are figuring out what are the best technologies through which, what are the newest technologies through which we can figure out this fraud problem, right? And you've been given a 50 million transactions of fraud credit card transactions, right? 50 million credit card transactions. Now, as a data scientist, what would you do? Would you straight away build a machine learning model, or would you do something else before building this machine learning model, right? What do you think are the first few things that you will ask, right? What are some of the questions that you would want to know? As a data scientist, and listen to this very carefully, what is important is not your understanding of a tool. What is important is your critical thinking. How critically you can, how many new angles can you actually bring in here? Even before you actually start thinking about inferential or building a machine learning model, the first question you would ask is, you are a rock star data scientist, you would ask is, let me understand the data. Give me a quick yes if this makes sense to you. What is this 50 million credit card transaction? What can this tell me? And this is where your data stories come into picture. I always like calling it data stories, in the sense that what story is your data telling you? And this is where descriptive statistics comes into picture. Descriptive statistics helps you describe data. For example, you would want to ask, for example, what percentage of 50 million transactions are fraud. Give me a quick yes if this makes sense to you. What is the average fraud transaction value? And keep on writing new things also that you can think of. I'm just giving these as some of the things that I think can happen, but possibly you might want to derive 10 new data stories or 10 new insights from this data even before you build the machine learning model, right? Average for fraud transaction value. I would look at, say, a ratio of online frauds versus all offline frauds. Does this make sense to everyone, right? I would look at frequency of frauds. Frequency of frauds, how frequently these frauds are happening. I would look at geographical spread of frauds, right? Are these frauds happening from a particular city, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, whatever, wherever, right? Or is there a geographical concentration, or is it like happening everywhere? What else? It can be, for example, from a particular credit card type. How many of you have Citibank credit cards, right? Citibank has credit cards like Indian Oil credit card, Citibank Premier Miles credit card, Citibank, God knows how many credit cards. Is that credit card fraud happening from a particular credit card type or not? Are things making sense to everyone, right? And are you able to see that what are the things that we are trying to do here before we are actually talking about building a machine learning model? I have not at all spoken about machine learning at all. So what descriptive statistics helps you do is it helps you describe data. And in descriptive statistics, you have concepts like mean, mode, median. Can you guys recall this from your school days or college days? Mean, mode, median. You would talk about visualizations. For example, you would talk about histograms. You would draw scatter plots. You would draw bar charts. You would draw a lot of these visualization to help you understand what is happening. Pie charts, for example, like Sudhindra writes, right? So what you're trying to do is that you are trying to understand your data, and descriptive statistics is used in what you call that data analysis. If you want to be, for example, a data analyst, right, you would want to use descriptive statistics a lot. Yeah. The second kind of statistics that you need to learn is inferential statistics. Now let's see what you have in inferential statistics. In inferential statistics, what you have is you infer something big about a population. You have a sample, and based on a sample, you're making an inference on a population. So these are the two important concepts that you need to pay close attention to. One is a sample. Let me just write here, sample, and second is population, right? Population. These are the two words. Obviously, there is much more to inferential statistics. I obviously cannot go through it right now because of the paucity of time and because this is the first day. So the goal is to, first of all, give you the very basics so that you are able to understand this much better. Now let's look at what sample and population mean in the Citibank case study. Now, I've been given this 50 million credit card transaction, and my goal is to build a machine learning model. Do you think I will start building this machine learning model on 50 million transactions? What do you think are the challenges here? What do you think are the issues here? If I start building a machine learning model with 50 million credit card transaction, or even if I want to try kind of analyze this 50 million credit card transaction, right? Very good, amazing answers. The first thing is that you will have problem with what? You will have problem with data storage. You have too much of data. You do not have possibly that kind of computation available. For example, if you are working in, say, Citibank, and you go to your manager and says that I need 10 lakh rupees to purchase TPUs to do this 50 million transaction, would your budget be approved so fast? Absolutely not. It will take it will take 6 months for 10 lakh rupees to actually get approved, right? It will take a lot of time for these approvals to happen. right? And secondly, it does not make any sense anyway to have such huge data sets for making those inferences. So what you would do is you will take a piece of this 50 million transactions and you would say that what inference I can make for 100,000 transactions. Let me see if the results I get for these 100,000 transactions, can I extrapolate my answer for those 50 million transactions? So I will just pick a randomly selected data from these 50 million transactions. And the important word, remember again, is random selection of data. There should be no bias in data. It should be a randomly selected data. Whatever inferences you will make from whatever conclusions you will come for this 100,000 transactions, you should be able to make it for 15 million transactions. And that is where inferential statistics comes into picture. Inferential statistics essentially says that what you are saying about this holds true for this. Obviously, there are 100 different things that you have to take into account, like validation, cross-validation, and those things. But the basic concept is very simple, that if I want to do a survey of who will win in 2019 elections, I don't need to survey all 135 crore people in India. Give me a quick yes if inferential statistics is clear to you that 135 crore people don't need to be surveyed. I can possibly ask 1 lakh people, and based on that 1 lakh people, I will draw my inferences. But the key and the most important key, however, is, as I mentioned some time back, is it has to be randomly selected data. And that's why you will see that's where all of these poll results absolutely go wrong, because they just take people in Delhi, and based on Delhi, they make those inferences for rest of India. Is that making sense to everyone? It cannot be biased data. It has to be randomly selected, and that's where inferential statistics and your concepts come into picture. And inferential statistics is used in what you call that machine learning. So remember, for data analysis, you use descriptive statistics, and for machine learning, you use inferential statistics. Let me know, give me a quick yes in the chat window if things are making sense, if you guys are enjoying, and if you guys are finding this really, really eye-opening and very, very easy. Because my goal is, I hate using jargons. I love keeping things very simple. And let me know if you guys are with me, if you're enjoying the session, and if you're finding the session useful. Yeah. And if you're learning a lot, right? That's again one very important thing, right? All right. So absolutely brilliant, very, very good session. Enjoying a lot. Okay, great. So now let's talk about the last part of this three things in the Venn diagram: domain expertise. Now, this is if I were to tell you, since I have had the opportunity to interact with some of the most brilliant data scientists in the world, and being among the top 20 data science academicians in India as well, I have interacted with almost every data science academicians in India. And one of the clear differentiators I see between the people who are the best in this field and people who are just good enough is this part called domain expertise, right? Now, my question to you guys is that, are we doing data science, or are we talking about data science because it is fancy? Are we talking about data science because it is exciting? Are we talking about data science because it is interesting and you have maths and computer science? Absolutely no. We are talking about data science to solve real world business problems. And this is where I would want each one of you to pay close attention to, because this is where out of 100 people I interview, most of the people get rejected, not because they are not good at maths, which they can obviously learn, not because computer science, but because they are not able to connect how will they solve a business problem, how will they solve a particular business problem through data, right? And domain expertise, that's where comes in very handy. For example, if you are a data scientist working at Walmart, you need to understand retail industry inside out. because only when you understand retail industry inside out, you understand what are the different players, what are their margins, what is Walmart, what are Walmart's various divisions, then only you will be able to help Walmart. Otherwise, how would you use data science or machine learning to help Walmart when you don't understand Walmart's business problem, right? Is that making sense to everyone? And are you guys with me on this part? And will you remember this particular small nugget of wisdom, of insight from today's session? That understanding a particular domain is very, very important, right? If I want to be a data scientist in telecom, I need to understand OSS, BSS, I need to understand all the jargon, because only then I can help a BT and AT&T or some other domain. If I want to be a data scientist in financial services industries, I need to understand the business model, the various kind of credit risk, the various kind of business problems, fraud problems that all these banks have. And my question to you guys is that, especially those of you who have a little more experience, what is that one area where you have domain expertise, right? It can be anything. Just type in the chat window and reflect a little bit that this is an area where you can possibly be the best in, right? And you can apply data science in. Mortgage, healthcare, telecom, banking, finance, manufacturing, IoT. In fact, the case study that we are going to do today is related to manufacturing. So you will enjoy that case study. Finance, airline industry, IoT. Very good, right? So you need to know your area, and you need to then kind of use machine learning in that particular area to solve business problem, right? Now, what do you need to be really? Now the question is, do you need to be really good at all three, that you are being expected to become really good at all three? The answer is no. Nobody expects you to become really great at all three. The simple formula or the framework, and this should be your major takeaway from today's session, and you should remember that Manav gave us this very simple framework that I will remember when I'm looking to transition into a data science. You need to be great at one of these three areas, and you need to be good in the rest two areas. Great at one, good at two. You don't need to be great at all three areas. And the moment you are trying to attempt becoming great at all these three areas, you fail, because you will now not know how to position yourself right. And I want you guys to reflect a little bit in the chat window and let me know what is that area that you can be great at, and what are the two areas that you can be good at. Very quickly, let me know in the chat window. And that combination is obviously going to be very different for all of you. For example, people with 10+ years of experience would have great domain expertise, will not be good at computer science. That's okay. People who are like 5 years of experience or 7 years of experience will be great in computer science, but might not have domain expertise. That's okay, right? Some of you who are good at maths may possibly would have maths as your #1 area. That's pretty okay, right? But you need to be able to figure out that when you talk to anyone, you should know that you are the best in domain knowledge, domain expertise. And in finding out, if you say that you're the best in domain expertise, you should be able to find out 50 ways in which Citibank can use data science, 30 ways in which say a British telecom can use machine learning. That's the level of precision that expertise that we are looking at here, right? Okay, great. So maths, computer science, great at computer science, good at maths and domain. Computer science plus maths, very good. Computer science plus domain expertise, very good. Yes, so it will depending on the number of years of experience you have, and depending on what your previous background has been, right? Now, how about we move to a real case study, so that you guys have a better sense of how data science actually is used. But before we do that, let me know that if we are all good till now, if you guys are with me, and if this part is clear to you now for once and all, what are the things that you need to focus on, what are the things that you need to learn, and if what I promised in the beginning, that this is going to be an eye-opening session, we are doing justice to that promise. And I'm loving all the chats that are flowing in in the chat window, left, right, and center. Let me know if you guys are enjoying, if the session is awesome, and if you guys are walking out of this with a lot of insights, and if you're connecting all of these dots with what you already know, right? Pooja says, awesome, it is an eye-opener. Santosh says, awesome, great session, awesome, interesting session, enjoying a lot, very interesting, enjoying a lot. All right, great, awesome. Let's move to the next part of today's session, connecting all the dots. Yeah, it is awesome, good session on Saturday. Or that precisely, I think JG writes that good session on Saturday. That makes sense. Because we are here on a Saturday morning and we would want to get the best out of the insights that we have in here, right? Another quick insight before we move to the case study is that I believe that the future of technology world is in two words: cloud plus machine learning. And if you can learn both of these areas, if any of you are working on cloud as well, and machine learning, obviously, if you can add both of these skill set to your resume, this is really helpful. For example, in our program, in one of our programs, we teach machine learning Azure, because we believe that machine learning is that Azure is that platform. You can obviously go for Amazon, you can go for Google TensorFlow. All of these are amazing platforms. But if you are from a non-programming background, and the reason I personally recommend Azure is it's just drag and drop. You can build amazing machine learning models using drag and drop. So if you can add cloud, a little bit of cloud also to your resume, if you're looking to transition into machine learning, you will have a clear advantage in the job market, because all the organizations today are moving their data to cloud, and having some kind of cloud knowledge becomes really useful. Yeah. And okay, one quick question from someone is, do I need to master all of these three? You don't need to master all of these three. Pick any one, right, and you're good to go. Become the best in that. My recommendation is Azure for machine learning, because it's very easy. Yeah. So how about moving now to a case study? I'll skip all of this, and possibly there's a lot of stuff to cover, and we'll do all of this exciting stuff in another session. How about we directly move to the case study, because case study is something that I want to personally do with each one of you, because this is the part where all of that, what you have learned so far, right, would come together, right? Let me know if you're ready to become a data scientist for the next 30 minutes, because this part will help you see the end-to-end case study, end-to-end data science project lifecycle, right? Awesome, great. So let's start with this very simple case study, and let's do a case study which is very different. And through this case study, you will learn the entire data science lifecycle, that how does a data science lifecycle actually is executed. And you would also see that what are the things you need to focus on as a data scientist, because the important thing is not to look at the life cycle and say, okay, these are the various steps, and it cannot be a mechanical process. It has to be a very critically analyzed process, right? And how do you do that? Let's look into that now. Let's say that you have gotten your first job as a data scientist, and your first job as a data scientist is with this company called Rolls-Royce. How many of you have heard about this company's name? Let me know in the chat window if you have heard about this company's name called Rolls-Royce, right? Rolls-Royce. And the reason we have taken this case study and made you a data scientist in Rolls-Royce is obviously I could have taken a case study from finance, from telecom, but those are like the usual case studies. The reason people love this case study is they are able to see the entire cycle, plus IoT, plus a lot of new things come into picture, right? All right, great. So I think everybody knows about this company called Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce makes luxury cars, right? It is famous for making luxury cars. And what Rolls-Royce and it gets its revenues from luxury cars, but what many of us don't know is that 80% 80% of Rolls-Royce revenues does not come from these amazing cars that they are known for, but comes from something called airline engines, these engines. So when you look at companies like Boeing, Airbus and all, right, what many of us do not know is that those companies like Boeing and Airbus, they do not manufacture anything of their own. They work on something called supply chain, wherein, and those of you who are familiar with manufacturing industry, who are familiar with say Maruti or Hyundai, those and I'm sure many of you already are, would know that Maruti does not manufacture anything on of its own. Do you guys know that? All it does is it has a lot of these vendors, and when these vendors just supply the various parts to Maruti, and all they are doing is they're just assembling that in Maruti plants, right? The assembling is what they are essentially doing. Similarly, Rolls-Royce makes these aircraft engines that are used by other airline companies. Now you have been hired as a data scientist at Rolls-Royce, and now you're a freshly minted data scientist, and you have been assigned on this task by the CEO of Rolls-Royce, and the task is that make engines that are intelligent, right? Because every CEO in the world is talking about intelligence. We are talking about intelligent cars, intelligent phones, intelligent homes, intelligent blah blah blah. So now the CEO of Rolls-Royce says that we want to make engines that are intelligent. Now this has been given to as a problem statement to you, and now your goal as a data scientist is to uncover this problem and to convert this problem into a data science problem and actually solve it. And the reason I wanted to give this problem to you is that you would be able to see that in real world, problems never ever appear. Business problems never ever appear as data science problems. It's not written that this is a data science problem. You need to convert a business problem into a data science problem. So the problem statement that is given to you is that make engines that are intelligent. Now, what are the first few questions that you'll ask here, right? And those critical questions are going to be more important. Those critical questions are going to be more important. That how would you go about solving this problem study, right? How would you go about solving this problem? Make engines that are intelligent. Will you start collecting data? Will you start doing analysis, or will you do something else? Yeah. Uh, very good. Exactly. Very good. That is what we want. Intelligent in what way? There are two questions that you would ask here. First of all, what does intelligent actually mean? Right? Arif writes what intelligent actually mean. Right? Very good. What exactly does intelligence mean? And number two is, why do you need intelligence in engines? Are we clear with these two problem statements here or not? Right? What does intelligence mean, and why do you need these intelligent engines? Right? Once we have defined this, then we know that this is the problem definition, and this is what you will need to do again and again as a data scientist. As a data scientist, you need to be really good at problem definition. I'm just typing it in the chat window. Let me just see if there is some way I can actually type. But problem definition is the first thing that you will need to do as a data scientist. That why do you need intelligent engine? Then what you would do is that you will possibly have defined it in this way. Intelligent engine means that the engine can predict beforehand. We will come to know beforehand when an engine component might fail. When an engine component might fail, right? So that is how I have defined it. And do you guys see, those of you who work in manufacturing, what is this case study? This case study is a predictive maintenance case study. All of us would have heard about predictive maintenance, right? IoT, those of us who are working in IoT. This is a predictive maintenance case study, that even if before a machine part fails, you come to know that this is going to fail, right? But let me know if this problem statement is clear to you, because problem definition is usually the #1 challenge that data scientists face, that defining a particular problem. Let me know, give me a quick yes if you are clear. Can you predict when an engine component might fail. And why this is very important is that airline business is a thin margin business, right? You look at companies like Jet Airways, you look at a lot of these companies which are in big losses. And why predictive maintenance is very important is that if your aircraft is flying from, say, say London to Dubai, and your aircraft develops a snag at Dubai, and your actual crew or the maintenance staff is at London, then you need to fly your maintenance staff to London, from London to Dubai, and then these spare parts are also not very easily available. It takes forever for you to order those spare parts, and that effect is, or the effect or the losses just pile up as the number of days on which the aircraft is on the ground just increase. So I want to be able to predict when an engine component might fail. Is the problem statement clear to everyone? That why are we doing that? We want the aircraft to be in the air as much as possible, and that's the whole reason that we are doing this predictive maintenance. Right now, you're given this problem statement. Now you need to convert this into a data science problem statement, right? And how would you do that? The way you need to always do is that you will need to look at a business problem and convert this into a data science problem. In data science, you would convert it this way, that this problem statement is nothing but a data science problem like this: predict y based on x. Now, my question to you guys is, what is y here and what is x here? What is y here and what is x here? Let me just show you the problem statement. What is y here and what is x here? If I want to build a machine learning model based on y and x, what is y and what is x? Take some time, think about it a little bit, right? X is condition, y is failure. Again, it needs to be more concrete. As a data scientist, you need to be more and more precise. The more precise you are, right, the better it is. So what I'm saying here is that you predict y based on x. So I would write it as y is the time in which the engine will fail. Make sense? And it is based on x. X is input variables, right? Or the various factors, input factors. Now this time in which the engine will fail, what is this time? It has to be a concretely defined time. It needs to be in terms of number of hours, or days, or months. Is it making sense to you guys? That are you guys with me? That you need to, in concrete terms, define this, and this is what you had not done. You had written the right answer, but you're not defined it in number of days, months, and all. Now you have to define y, time in which the engine component will fail, based on x. Now what are the x parameters here? What you need to tell me, how will you build this machine learning model, and how can you predict that when will this engine component fail, right? What do you think are the parameters here? What are the various parameters? Very good. Temperature is one. Excellent. The temperature is the environmental factors. Temperature is one parameter that will go in predicting. Excellent. Humidity. Excellent. Right. That the more pressure, since all these aircrafts go through different engine pressures, there it leads to more and more wear and tear. I need to know, to be able to predict when the engine engine will fail, what is the year of manufacture of that engine, right? The older the engine is, the higher the likelihood of failure. I need to know the humidity, because all of these aircrafts fly in different conditions. Possibly there are aircrafts which are flying in different humid regions, and there are some aircrafts which are flying in non-humid regions. Aircrafts which are flying in humid regions will get mild corrosion, right? Then there is temperature, then there is miles flown. For example, there are aircrafts which are flying 24 hours, and there might be aircraft that are flying only 12 hours a day. So obviously the aircraft which is flying 24 hours a day, which will have faster engine failure, right? Is it making sense to everyone that now the X components are also determined? And that's what you have done. What you have done is you have not even started the first step of this data science life cycle. All you are doing so till now is that you are converting a business problem into a data science problem, and that's where domain expertise comes into picture. Do you remember we had spoken some time back that why domain expertise is important? And do you guys now know that how domain expertise is important here? Let me know in the chat window if that point you are able to connect it to this case study, that until unless I do not know the business, I do not know the various factors, I do not know how do I need to predict, how can I even start implementing all of this? Domain expertise, that's why is the key to getting excelling in data science. Yeah. All right. Now you know all of these factors that go into building this machine learning model. Now what you will do is, as a data scientist, what you will do is this: you will start collecting this data. Now my question to you guys is that how will you collect this data? I want data of aircrafts, of temperature, pressure, all of this data, right? So how will I collect this data? Where do you think that data is going to be, right? As a data scientist, you need to tell me. I will not let you know. You need to tell me because you are doing the case study. I'm a client. You are the data scientist. Shiva writes sensors, Tejas write past records, logs, right? Excellent. All of those are clear, are the answers. That there is two kind of data that you would have. One is historical data, and this historical data, where would this historical data would be? This historical data would be either in your Hadoop systems, it will be in your Teradata systems, it will be in your Netezza systems, or it will be in your enterprise data warehousing systems. Any of you from enterprise data warehousing system backgrounds here? EDW, right? So this is where your data will reside. Now this real-time data will come from sensors, and sensors is the field what we call IoT, Internet of Things. So sensors are relaying a lot of data. Any guesses that how much data is generated by an aircraft in a 2-hour flight? In a 2-hour flight, how much data is generated by an aircraft, right? Absolutely, very good. 500 GB. It is 500 GB. Can you believe that when an Indigo airline flies or Lufthansa flies, in 2 hours it generates 500 GB of data? That is the amount of data generation that is happening, right? Now my second question to you is that should you collect both historical data and real-time data, or is it historical enough or is real-time enough? Should I collect both type of data, or am I okay having one? What are the pros and cons? Because if I collect both type of data, it's going to be a lot of effort. I need to contact my Hadoop expert, and my Hadoop expert is going to just dig in, and he's going to take some time. But is both type of data important? Absolutely, very good. Both type of data is important because remember one of the things, what did we say some time back? In machine learning, it needs to be randomly selected data. You cannot have biases in that data. Does that make sense? Removing and all of those concepts that we learned some time back, right? Biases cannot be there in data, and real-time data can be biased. For example, if I'm collecting real-time data in rainy season, right? Again, it will be biased data, and I don't want to be collecting that kind of data. And that data collection is very important. After that, what I would do as a data scientist is I cannot straight away start building my machine learning model. I will process that data. What I need to do in data processing is I need to clean my data. I need to, for example, look for inconsistent data. And this is where, listen to me closely, this is where you will be spending 30 to 40% of your data, of your time as a data scientist. 30 to 40% of your time as a data scientist will be spent in data cleaning. Because if you feed bad data to your machine learning model, will you get good results or bad results? Bad data fed into your machine learning model will give you bad results, And good data fed into your machine learning model will give you great results, right? You can do anything, but data quality is very, very important. Data quality is the name of the game in machine learning, AI, and data science. Data quality is the number one thing that you need to focus on when you're doing machine learning, and you will take care of these things, right? Missing data, you for example, let's take an example of log data. For example, sensors are generating log data. Have you guys gone through log data? Have you seen that it almost seems next to impossible to be able to interpret log data? How on the earth would I, as a data scientist, be able to understand log data? I, for one, can't understand log data at all, right? So what is really important is that I should be able to convert log data into data that is meaningful for my analysis. Am I making sense? Are things clear so far? And are you guys getting some of these small things? How are they important when you're doing real world data science, and how all of this in practice gets applied? Yeah. All right. Once you have done all of this data cleaning, now comes the part which is exploratory data analysis. And this is where you would use descriptive statistics. Remember, we had done descriptive statistics some time back. We have spoken about that. We will want to explore our data and check for patterns, anomalies, frame hypothesis, and check assumptions. Now, what does this mean is you will want to look for example, does humidity have the highest correlation with engine failure, or does temperature has the highest correlation? Does this make sense? Am I making sense here? Humidity has the highest correlation or temperature? I would have my assumptions, but I need to check whether my assumptions are correct or not. And I want to get other insights as well. For example, average running time, average engine failure, all of those kind of permutation combination that I would want to do, right? After I have done that analysis, finally comes the machine learning part, which is where the action is, which is where the future is, and which is what most of you would actually enjoy doing a lot, which is machine learning, because predictions can happen using machine learning. And what I would do is, since you are the data scientist here, I will show you a bunch of machine learning algorithms. Take 30 seconds, do not hurry, take 30 seconds. Even if you don't know anything about machine learning, that's fine, right? But make a sensible guess on the algorithms that I will show you next, right? Are we ready to do this? I will show you 5 different categories of machine learning algorithms, and all the business problems in the world can be solved using these 5 categories of algorithms. And your goal is, for this case study, you need to pick the right machine learning algorithm. Here are the algorithm categories. You need to tell me which algorithm category will solve this business problem. I'll take a pause here for 30 seconds. Once you have the answers, let me know in the chat window. Okay, anomaly detection, Shivendra writes clustering, classification, reinforcement learning. Oh my God. This is again what I said. As a data scientist, critical thinking is really, really important. Numerical prediction, clustering. Think about the end goal. What is the end goal, guys? Remember the end goal. The end goal is not to classify anything. The end goal is not to cluster whether these are Indians, Chinese, Japanese. The end goal is not to cluster. The end goal is not reinforcement learning to determine the next sequence of action. The end goal is to predict the number of days in which the machine will fail. And what is that answer? It is numerical prediction. Isn't that obvious, right? Does it make sense, right? Numerical prediction, why it is the answer. And that's why I keep on telling you guys that focus on the end goal. End goal is the key here, and work backwards. Why not anomaly detection? The reason is here, we are not trying to determine any anomaly. We are trying to determine the number of days. Remember, not the anomaly, but number of days in which the machine will actually break down. Yeah, are you guys with me on this? Let me know if each one of you are clear with this. Anomaly detection, okay, is not the right answer because we are not looking for deviations. It is for real-time analysis. Here we are trying to predict, make a prediction. How can you make a prediction using anomaly detection? Because anomaly detection is just to detect an anomaly right now. Yeah. All right. Now, what I would do is for numerical prediction, I will take a category of machine learning algorithm that is the easiest and most widely used for numerical prediction, called linear regression. And if you look at this very closely, you will see that this is very similar to y is equal to mx plus c equation that you would have learned in school. Do you guys remember this? Can you guys recall this? Very easy equation that you would have learned. Linear regression is nothing but the equation of a straight line. In the simplest term, equation of a straight line. Now, what this is that right now, if you see, this has multiple variables here: pressure, temperature, service time, humidity, miles run, various factors, and all of these are helping me predict the engine failure time. And this type of linear regression is called multivariate linear regression. Multivariate linear regression, right? I can't tell you how many times I come across people who get scared that, okay, what is multivariate linear regression? This is nothing rocket science. This is just multiple variables helping you predict one thing. This is called multivariate linear regression. So what would be a univariate linear regression? Not difficult to guess, right? And are you guys enjoying data science and all of these terms and terminologies? Right? This is very simple if you start looking at it from a real world perspective, from a business problem perspective, and from a end goal perspective. All of this is very easy, right? Univariate is when you have only one variable, right? In real world, in data science, most of the time you'll be working on multivariate linear regression. Now let's look at these things: A1, A2, A3. What are these things here? Right? Can you guys help me understand what are A2, A3? What is their role? Can't I simply write temperature, pressure, and all? Absolutely. Very good answers. These are what you call coefficients. For example, if pressure has a coefficient of 0.7 and if service time has a coefficient of 0.3, what does that indicate? Pressure has 0.7 and service time has 0.3. What does that indicate to you? Right? That indicates that pressure has a higher correlation to the engine failure time. Pressure is more important than engine failure time. And these are what you call coefficients. And I like calling them weightages, weights of that variable, right? I will just write this third terminology that you need to learn, which is weightages. Now, the fourth thing that you need to learn, and this often confuses newbie, but that's why I want you to pay close attention here, is that you have something called this. This is the output variable. In the world of machine learning, output variable is called dependent variable. Dependent. My bad here. Dependent variable. And the input variables are called independent variables. Why that is called dependent is it is dependent on what is being fed as input, and it is independent because it has no dependency on anything else. So these are the 5 terms that you need to remember from this particular machine learning model. To predict the engine failure time, we are using multivariate linear regression, which has multiple variables. The weightages of each of these variables are different, right? And these are the terminologies that you should be walking out of this particular machine learning model: univariate, multivariate, weightages, independent variable, and dependent variable, right? Let me know if that is clear to you and if that is quite a lot of insights and information. My goal was just to simplify all of this in real sense and to help you guys walk away that when you finish this session, you are like, wow, I learned so much in today's session. Let me know if this is making sense to you. Yeah. Now, why only linear regression? The reason is very simple. There is no particular preference for linear regression. You can use decision tree or any other machine learning model as well. You can use other, but the simplest always is something that I usually start with, which is linear regression for numerical prediction, but you can use anything else also, right? This is what we are using. Now, is your job as a data scientist done, or is something else also left? Are you done, or something else is also left? Something else is also left. And what is that? That your job does not start with, you does not stop with just building a machine learning model. Your job continues because you are building this machine learning, you're doing all of this prediction so that you can actually present it to the CEO. Remember, the goal was the CEO had given you a business problem. Do you guys remember that? That is a very, very important point, and that's something that we often forget. Our goal was not to build a machine learning model. Are we guys clear with this? Our goal was not to do this exploratory analysis. Our goal was that CEO had given me a problem, right? And I converted that into a data science problem. And this is where you will really shine as a presenter. If you are good in presentations, if you're good at telling stories and presenting the end results, this is a very important critical stage of data science. And what you would possibly do is you would build a dashboard here, right? For example, this is a dashboard that you can easily build. For example, if you have your data on cloud like Azure gives you APIs. You connect your data is on Azure, and you build this machine learning model also on Azure, and you connect your APIs to this dashboard that you have built, and wow, you now have something that your CEO can see live. Does that make sense to all of you, that how this is really important? Because to a CEO, linear regression, logistic and all of that does not really matter. But if you can see a dashboard like this, then you can show it not to only the CEO, but you can also show open sources and also deploy it for your clients like Boeing. You can deploy it for your clients like Airbus as well, right? Now, is your job as a data scientist over? Right? Thankfully, yes, your job is over, and that brings us to the end of the data science project lifecycle, in the sense that as a data scientist, your job will end here, but the next part will start, which will move to a next project. And that's the exciting part, that in data science you keep on moving to more and more projects, right? Every 3 months you want to work on new projects. And my question to you guys is, how many of you would want to work on exciting projects every 3 months, every 2 months, every 3 months? And you find the current model of IT industry wherein you are working on the same project for years, and 1 year, 2 year, a little boring, right? So this is where you really need to develop your mental stamina, in that every 3 months you need to work on a new problem statement, because you can't be working on one project for years, right? And this is where your critical thinking, speed, accuracy, ability to understand business problems and see how that can be solved using data science would literally really come into picture. Yeah. All right. So that brings me to the last part of today's session. But let me know if things have been exciting so far, if things have made sense, and if when I started that this session will give you clarity about data science and machine learning, what you need to learn, how is it done in real world, and how can you transition what you should be focusing on. If we have done justice to that promise, before I focus on before I move to the scholarship part, let me know if this was something that finally gave you a lot of clarity after months and months of confusion. right? Exciting and understood very well, eye-opening session. Great. So this was just the start of this journey. This is just the step one, and this is a very, very interesting journey if this is done in the right way. It can also become very frustrating if it is done in the wrong way. And if you are excited about continuing your journey into data science and machine learning beyond this, because 60 minutes is or 1 hour or 2 hours is not enough, I would really invite you to have a look at the scholarship, because these scholarships are life-changing scholarships in the sense that it makes it anyone irrespective of their financial background to be able to transition into data science and machine learning roles, become a data leader, and grab those opportunities that they've been wanting to grab for long. Let me know. I want your permission to move to the scholarship. Let me know if this is something that you were excited about knowing now. And since we have reserved a couple of these scholarships for today's session, let me know if you would want to avail these scholarships, because I would want to move to these scholarships. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yes, I would want to know. Okay, great. So let me just move to the scholarship slide first, and just me change the scholarships and tell you a little bit about what these scholarships is. The scholarships are coming from the Insaid Vision Fund. As I said, Insaid's vision is to put India on the global AI map, and to help us achieve that mission, we have set a 15 crore corpus fund with 3 goals: to attract talented professionals like you guys with the potential to become data leaders of tomorrow; to fund our students, startups in machine learning and AI space. In this initiative, we give funding up to 20 lakhs plus network, community, and support. To fund students with startups in machine learning and machine learning related to machine learning. Obviously, it has to be a well thought out idea, and an idea which is worth putting money. And the third is to provide research grant to faculty and students. Right now, I think the most important and relevant one is for you is the first one, through which you get up to 70% tuition waiver on 3 of the programs that Insaid runs. I'll just quickly move to the programs. The first of these programs is the Global Certificate in Data Science. How many of you already know about the GCD program? Because this is our most popular program, that wherein we have almost 70% to or 80% of our students in. This is that program. This is totally designed for people like you, right? So the Global Certificate in Data Science is the first program on which the scholarship, you have the scholarships available. The second program is the Global Certificate in Data Science and Artificial Intelligence. This is a 1-year program. Again, very, very impactful program and one of my favorites, but the duration is a little on the longer side. It's for 1 year, but it makes you ready for both data science and AI roles. I'll talk about that in a while. Now, the whole goal of the GCD and the GCD AI program is not to make you a data scientist. It is not to make you a machine learning expert, because we believe that when you go through the GCD and the GCDI program, you will definitely be able to get a data science and a machine learning role. There's no 2 doubts about it. But the goal is to produce data leaders of tomorrow. How can you achieve a leadership position, whether it be head of analytics, whether it be head of data science, whether it be you leading a data science and machine learning team, you building products and solutions powered through AI and machine learning. The goal of the program is that, and that's why this is a very unique program in that sense. The mission of the program is very, very different. Right now, across the programs, across the GCD program, we have more than 1,000 students enrolled from almost all top IT, product, BFSI, and telecom companies that you can think of, whether it be the top IT services companies like Accenture, IBM, TCS, Infosys, or the big 4 companies like Deloitte, EY, PwC, KPMGs of the world, or it be the banking and financial services companies like JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Citibank. We have students enrolled from every top company in the world, and this is one of the greatest strengths of the GCD and the GCD AI program, that if you want a referral in any company, you have a student or possibly multiple students working at all different levels, right from software engineers to all the way to directors and senior directors and vice presidents. For example, we have a couple of vice presidents from Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, directors from Oracle, Microsoft, project managers, senior project managers, team leaders, software engineers, senior software engineers as well, as a part of the program. So let me just help you. So Parimal writes, can't see HSBC. We have approximately 5 to 7 students from HSBC as well. Parimal, it's right there also, right? HSBC logo is there. I'm not sure if you can't see HSBC here. Yeah. So let me tell you how the GCD program helps you achieve your goals. And at this point, what is important to you is that you've already been working for a couple of years, and you would want two things. You would want to, first of all, go with the flow where the entire technology industry is. You would want to go there, right? And you would know what the entire technology industry today is talking about, right? It is talking about machine learning, data science, AIT, cloud computing, and IoT. All that. That's all, right? And you would always want to be at center of where the action is. And this is what the GCD program helps you do. Let me just talk about some of the ways, 5 key ways in which the GCD program helps you achieve your goals. And then I will firstly talk about 1 or 2 of these things. Then I'll open up the floor for registration so that you can register yourself with these tuition waivers, right? Since there are very, very limited few of these tuition waivers for the training attendees today. And then I will cover the rest of the part about the program. The first part about the GCD program that makes it unique is the rigorous curriculum of the program. I personally believe that there is that an area like data science and machine learning cannot be mastered in 1 or 2 months. And that's why in the program, the GCD program, the way it flows, and when I say GCD, I don't mean only GCD like this. I'm talking about all the programs in general. We take a step-by-step approach. You go through a program that is very nicely structured. You go through a program that takes you from the very basics of statistics, data analysis, and you learn how to manipulate data, how to clean data in term 1, right? Then you move to term 2, wherein you do data visualization, right? As I said, data stories. Building data stories is a key part of your job as a data scientist, is very, very important. And this is where this part of data visualization and exploratory data analysis comes into picture. And in term 3, this is where the action starts happening. You move into something where the future is and where the whole technology world is moving towards, called predictions. And this, you start doing predictions through machine learning. In this term, you learn the very basics of machine learning. You learn linear regression, logistic decision trees, and all of these, the basics that will make you really, really strong for machine learning, right? After that, you move to term 4. The CDF program then ends, and then you continue with the GCD program. And this is where you essentially start mastering machine learning. And in term 4, you have machine learning intermediate, in which you have unsupervised algorithm. And in term 5, you have this is personally my favorite term, because here you get to choose any of the one elective. For example, some of you would want to choose, for example, become the best in machine learning. So you can choose machine learning advanced, which is elective 1. Some of you would want to add R also to your resume, like the way, if you remember, I mentioned along with Python, which is number 1, some of the recruiters might ask you to have R. You can choose R as well, which is elective 2. And third is data visualization. This is one of my favorite electives, because you can build powerful data visualizations doing drag and drop, and Tableau is super easy to learn, which is elective 3, right? So essentially, based on what you want to do, you can choose that particular elective. If you want to specialize in machine learning, take machine learning foundation, intermediate and advanced. If you want to add R, take R. And if you want to do visualization, you take visualization. And this whole unique concept of elective, we brought it because we thought that all of the people, you should have, our students should have the power to choose the right plan for them, and that's where the electives come into picture, right? So let me know, based on this, which elective do you think is the most relevant for you, and which elective do you think you will find the most exciting, and you find connecting the dots between what you are learning and where you would want to go, right? Okay. ML Advanced, ML Elective 3, Tableau, Data Analytics with R, Tableau, Data Analytics with R, right? Okay, very good. So all of you would see that have different preferences depending on what you want to essentially go for. And this is where the GCD and the GCD AI programs start changing tracks. In term 5, while you choose any of these electives, the gears start shifting in the GCDI program, and the gears start shifting in GCDI program towards ML basics, right? That you require for AI. And this is where you end your journey after term 6 in GCD program, and you continue on the AI journey in the GCDI program. So what happens in the GCDI program is, in GCD in term 6, you finish your program in 6 months, right? But in GCDI, you finish your data science journey here, and you start transitioning into AI, right? And you start doing term 5 to help you smoothly transition into AI with ML basics for AI. After that, you do term 7, which is TensorFlow and Keras for AI. These are the two most widely used platforms for artificial intelligence. And after that, you have deep learning foundation, which is essentially the neural networks, these concepts, learning some of these basic algorithms like convolution neural networks, recurrent neural networks, etc. It's very, very important. And after that, you have NLP1, which is deep learning for NLP. If you want to build, say, chatbots and things which can talk to you, then you have NLP1 as as a term that you definitely need to look at. After that comes my area of research, which is computer vision. This is the area, as I mentioned, where my research is currently in computer vision 1, which is term 10. Computer vision, as I said, is the most revolutionary technology of the future, and computer vision is what is going to define the human race in future, when machines are going to see just like humans and are going to interpret just like humans. You have term 10 here. At the end, you have a specialization. You can choose NLP2 as a specialization, or you can choose computer vision 2 as a specialization as well. It's totally up to you what you want to specialize in. Each of the terms here is taught, and what you is taught in a totally live, hands-on, project-based learning architecture. Just like the way today's session was great, not because only I was giving you theory, but I was helping you go deep in an exciting way. Similarly, each of the class of the GCD, GCDI program is designed in such a way that you go deep, you learn, you enjoy, and you implement. And that's where the learning, project-based learning architecture comes into picture. You learn from a lot of real life examples, case studies, term projects, capstone projects. After 3 terms, you work on a minor project. After 6 terms, after 5 terms, you work on a capstone data science project. This is an end-to-end project in which you build a real-world product and solution. And after the first, and you push this product and solution to production on cloud. You will give you our cloud server, and you'll have data in our SQL servers, and you will export this data from SQL, put it on cloud, implement machine learning, and that's how you'll have this real world product that is getting built. And after the first 11 terms also, you will have, after the 11 terms of GCD AI, you have a capstone project that you can't see right now because it's towards the very end, called capstone project for AI. Yeah. The next thing about the GCD and the GCD AI program is the intensive learning format for working professionals like you. How many of you feel that you want to learn a lot, but your office commitments, your home commitments always throw your learning journey off track? Let me know if you can relate to it, that that you start with a certain motivation, 15 days down the line, again that motivation is gone, and again you are starting from scratch, right? So a lot of people can relate to it, and this is what the intensive learning format of the GCD program is all about. You have a direct to desktop model wherein all the classes are streamed live just like this. So you're not just sitting in front of computer and watching some videos, but you're learning in a live format, and all the classes are recorded, right? The classes take place mostly on the weekends, mornings, either in the 8 to 10 a.m. slot or the 11 to 1 p.m. slot. And you have the access to teaching assistants during the entire week. During the week, if you run into issues and if you have questions that, Manav, how do I ask my questions, right? Because I'm not going to be available during the week, right? You have access to teaching assistants who will help you with your queries. And the last part is you have access to discussion forums. I will show you what the discussion forums look like, where you have hundreds of our students interacting with each other all the time. This ensures that you are a part of a close-knit community that is inspiring you to move forward, and you're actually learning a lot during the entire process. So that's about the learning format of the GCD program, that's designed in such a way that working professionals like you can maintain your motivation. I will talk about the other two aspects, the certification aspect and the career assistance aspect in a bit. But let me just open up the registrations. But before that, let me help you choose the right program for you. Right now, how many of you are still a little confused between CDF, GCD, and GCD AI? Let me know if you are confused, so that I can help you choose the right program, right? GCD, CDF, and GCD, and after that, I will help you figure out what is the right program for you, right? If your goal is to get started in the field of data science without a lot of commitment, right? CDF is the program for you, because it's for 3 months. You learn all the basics, and the time requirement plus the rest of the things are also not a lot. It's for 3 months. If you want to build solid expertise into data analysis and machine learning, right, you need to go for GCD. Right, this is for 6 months, and I believe that you cannot master data science in 3 months. You need 6 to 7 months to master machine learning and data science and data analysis. GCD is the program for you. And if you want to learn AI as well, you have GCD AI, which is spread over 11 terms. This is truly will catapult your career into the next league, because now an organization does not need to hire 2 people for doing 2 different tasks. So it does not have to pay one person a 20 lakh salary and another person again 20 lakh salary. Possibly it can give a 30 lakh salary to you, and whenever you are required in data science or AI, you can switch in between very easily. And the best part is that since the duration is optimal 11 months, you should be able to transition into a data science or a machine learning or an AI role by the end of this program, right? So the program is CDF if you're just getting started with it, GCD if you want to develop expertise in machine learning and data analysis, and GCD AI if you're ready to put more effort into AI and data science over a period of 10 months to 12 months, right? That's the distinction. The program fee for each of the program is CDF is 1 lakh, GCD is 2 lakhs, and GCDI is 3 lakhs. Through the Insaid Vision scholarships that provides you up to 70% tuition waiver. The fee for each of the program become super affordable. And the whole reason for us to make it super affordable is that so that each one of you, irrespective of what background you're from or what you want to do, you should be able to upskill in data science and machine learning. However, there is a minimum eligibility for the program and the minimum eligibility for the scholarship, and the minimum eligibility is that you need to have at least 2 years of experience. As I said, this program is meant only for working professionals, for professionals with some amount of experience who can contribute to the class, who can contribute to the network, and who can build, who can be groomed into data leaders of tomorrow. So that's the fee for CDF, GCD, and GCD AI. Now let me know in the chat window, which program do you think is the right program for you? CDF, GCD, GCD AI, and I want to see that each one of you should be clear with the program, right? Okay, GCD, 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 GCD AI, CDF, GCD, right? The second good news is that all of you, the second good news is that you have an upgrade option available as well. So you can start with CDF and later you can take a upgrade to GCD, or you can start with GCD and later you can take an upgrade to GCD AI by paying a small course upgrade fee, right? So that that you have that flexibility to switch between programs as well, right? But the program that I would recommend is GCD or GCD AI. But if you just want to kind of start slow, you can start with CDF as well, right? So here is the link to register for the programs. Just come to this page, apply.insaid.co. If you want to go for any of these programs, just log on to this page, apply.insaid.co. Here you would have this page, and in this page you have these three programs: GCD, GCD AI, GCD AI, GCD, and CDF. Let me know if you guys can first of all see my browser. If you can see this page, because I've just switched from PPT, right, to this page. So I just want to be sure that you are able to see it. Yeah. Okay. Then if you want to go, whichever program you want to go for, you can choose that program. For example, if you want to go for GCDI, you would select GCD AI, and the program reservation fee right now, you don't have to pay the full fee, right? I will tell you the next step. Right now, you just have to reserve your seat here, right? What you need to do is you need to just select the program, and after that, what you do is you would just give your name here, right? Say Manvinder, right? Manav, and then you will give your name, email address, and batch. So there are two batches. The next two cohorts of the GCD GCDI batch are starting on January 5th and February 2nd. The last cohort started on November 17th. And let me know also how many of you would want to go for, how many of you are planning to go for for January 5th cohort, because there are very few seats left for the January 5th cohort. And how many of you are looking to go for the February cohort, which is February 2nd? Yeah. Okay. January 5th, January 5th, January 5th, January 5th, January 5th, January 5th. All right. Most of you are planning to go for January 5th. Yeah. So you can select whichever cohort you want to go for. That is totally up to you. And after that, you can reserve your seat and scholarship. This is a guaranteed scholarship for those of you at least with 2 years of experience. If any of you with less than 2 years of experience register for this, we'll cancel your admission. So make sure that you are only reserving if you have at least 2 years of experience, right? Okay. So what you need to right now do to reserve your scholarship is just come to this page, and here you will see this option. You give your details, you reserve your seat, and after that you can give your email address. And then the good news is that we have partnership with almost all net banking providers. But the actual good news is that we have EMI, we have tied up with all credit card companies to give you credit card EMI options. So we have tie-ups with almost all credit card companies, and you can select EMI options starting as low as whatever you want, as low as 187 rupees or 353 rupees or whatever you want to go for. And you can select any of these credit cards from this page itself, right? So go ahead and sign up for the GCD program or the GCD AI program with this 70% tuition waiver, which is a life-changing scholarship in the sense that you get to enroll for a 1-year GCD AI program. You get to be mentored by some of the best experts in this field with a 70% tuition waiver, right? Okay, and if you have questions, keep on letting us know in the chat window. Vikas is there in the chat window to help you, and he will be answering all of your questions. Yeah. Okay. Now next question is, can I enroll in November batch? No, November batch has already started. So if there is anything urgent you would want to go for November batch, otherwise you need to go for January batch. There is a reason for that. I will come to that in a while, right? If you want to go for GCD, select GCD, and you would have GCD selected here. The seat reservation fee for all the programs is just the same. It's just the same. So you don't have to worry about paying different fee for different programs. Once you have registered for the GCD or GCD AI, just come back in the chat window and introduce yourself. And I would love to know from each one of you who is registering, and I would love to welcome each one of you here in the session itself. Just introduce yourself in this format. Registered Manish from IBM Bangalore with 14 years, say, Oracle experience, right? Just type in the chat window in this format, and I would love to know about you, and I would also love to welcome each one of you, right? Okay. Okay, guys, so the time has already started. Since we are a little late in today's session, this link is open till 1:15 as the session goes on right now. And once you have registered yourself and selected the right batch and the right cohort, let me know in the chat window. Now, let me help you with what happens next here. Yeah. So here are the steps that you need to take after today. So after today, you'll have to undergo by after November 30th. So this is not November 24th. You'll need to go through a 5-week mandatory. Sorry, this is December 1st. Sorry, December. Let me just mention it. December 1st. From December 1st, you'll have to go through a 5-week mandatory GCD pre-program prep. Essentially, the goal of this pre-program prep and why this is unique is what we want is that our students should be prepared for the GCD program. And why they should be prepared is there are a lot of you from, for example, QA background, testing background, Oracle background, who might not have done programming. Some of you would have lost touch with statistics. So we will be having a 5-week GCD pre-program prep. As a part of these pre-program prep, you'll get access to Python starter kit and statistics starter kit. We'll be giving you access to Python starter kit and statistics starter kit, and I'll show you also what these starter kits looks like. And you need to complete these starter kits before the program begins. This is mandatory. If you're not doing that, your admission will be postponed to the next batch. You cannot start the program. The deadline to complete both the steps is you need to, by November 30th, complete your scholarship application, and you need to pay the remaining fee, which is 26,000 for CDF, 56,000 for GCD, and 86,000 for GCD AI. And again, as I said, you have credit card EMI options. So you can select credit card EMI options from our website itself, and you can avail any of the credit card EMI options. And the GCD AI fee can be paid in 2 installments. So you're paying, for example, 1 installment on, say, November 30th, and the second installment you pay on 30th of December. So you have that option as well. And on January 5th, then the program commences. Yeah. So that's the next steps that happen after today. Yeah. All right. So let me know, and once you have registered, and I would love to welcome each one of you here in the session. Now, before I talk about anything else, how about I talk a little bit about how many of you would want to know a little bit about the career assistance part, because personally for me that is very, very important. Yeah. Okay, great. So two parts that I've not been able to speak about so far is number one, the certification, and the number two part is the career assistance part. Let me just talk a little bit about that by going to the certificate. In the GCD program, what you have is that in each of the terms, in each of the 6 terms, we bring in one of the global experts, one of the leaders from around the world, from UK, India, Israel, Silicon Valley, to interact with our students. And our goal is that right from the day you start your GCD prep, right from December itself, you don't have to even wait till January. From December itself, you will have exposure to what is happening around the world, right? And this is what one of our students says, that at Insaid, we are always fostered to think, learn, behave, and act as data leaders of tomorrow from day one. And our endeavor is that you should be able to crack jobs in data science and machine learning across the world through this exposure that we are providing you. And this is what your certificate will look like. Your certificate will have a unique certification ID. And if any employer across the world wants to validate whether you have actually done the certification or not, they can validate with us using this unique certification ID. Using this unique certification ID that you will get. This is what your final certification will look like. Depending on the program that you're going for, the certificate will obviously change. Yeah. Last part is career assistance. Now, before I come to the career assistance part, let me ask you a question. How many of you are looking to do GCD for a career transition? And how many of you are looking to do GCD to upskill in data science, right? How many of you are looking to do a GCD for career transition? If you're looking for career transition, type in career transition, right? And if you're looking to do upskilling, just type upskill. Yeah. Career transition, transition. So most of you are looking to do transition. All right, great. So if you're looking to transition into a data science and a machine learning role, this is something which is personally very important to me, called Insaid Career Center. The whole reason we established Insaid Career Center is that we realized that a lot of professionals like you are totally ready for transitioning into data science and machine learning role, but you don't possibly know what are the steps, right? So for example, if you are right now here and you want to go here, right? So what are the various steps that you need to take to get there? And that there is into a data scientist role, or into a machine learning role, or into some other role. So there are various steps that you need to follow, right, to get there. For example, step 1 will be building a great resume. Step 2 would be getting referrals in different companies. Step 3 is preparing for interviews, right? If you're doing all of these steps properly, I believe that each one of you should be able to crack a data science role successfully, or a machine learning role successfully, right? And this is what Insaid Career Center helps you do. Insaid Career Center is that powerful platform through which you would be able to secure a data science or a machine learning role successfully. Now, our goal is to provide not only the classes, but also the career assistance. Your goal is to put the effort along with us, so that you actually are making that happen. Yeah. All right. So does this seem helpful? Let me know if the Insaid Career Center and what this is, if this is clear to you, and if this seems helpful, and if you can see how this will help you transition into a data science role successfully. Yeah. Okay. Next is, let me just now welcome a couple of people, and let me just move to some of the other parts that you would want to know, right? How many of you want to take all the electives, right? How many of you would want to take all the electives? You would have seen that in GCD you would have seen 3 electives, and how many of you wanted to take all 3 electives during the program? You will get an opportunity to do only 1 elective, because we believe that it is almost impossible for one individual to do all the 3 electives. But let me know how many of you would want to do all the 3 electives. I see a lot of you. Yeah, if you want to do all the 3 electives, and this is what all the 3 electives look like. The benefit of doing these 3 electives is that now if you want to learn R, and if you want to learn, say, Tableau, or if you want to learn machine learning advanced, you don't have to pay for these electives separately. Along with the scholarship, what you also get is you get the opportunity to attend all of the electives free of cost, right? All the electives free of cost, right? What that means is that along with these electives that you are doing in the program, right? And during the program, you will be doing only 1 elective because you can't do all 3. Later, once your program finishes and you want to do all the electives, you can do that as well. And this is a part of our lifelong learning initiative, that our students should be able to come back and do the program or the elective again as well. Similarly, if you want to do both the specializations, if you want to do specializations in NLP 2 or computer vision 2, so you should not be making a decision whether I should do NLP 2 or computer vision 2. During the program, you'll obviously specialize in one thing, but after the program, you have the opportunity to do the other elective as well, right? So let me know if this is helpful, and how many of you found this to be super useful, super helpful, and super good. Let me know if this all the electives and all the specialization is helpful. Yeah. All right, great. This is super helpful. So do we have to pay extra for learning all the electives? No. Along with the scholarship, what you're also getting is you're getting all the electives and all the optionals. This is a part of the scholarship. The whole goal is to make it super convenient for all of you, so that you don't have to make a choice. Yeah. Next part is that one of the things that students always ask is that during the program, you will be getting a lot of recordings. You will get opportunity to learn from all great faculty. You will get access to Insaid Learning Center and a lot of other material assignments, and etc. How many of you would want that even after the program ends, you should have access to the Insaid Learning Center? Insaid Learning Center is where you will be actually it'll be a home for learning. Possibly after 1 year, you want to revise your concepts in computer vision. Possibly after 2 years, you want to go through your concepts in machine learning again, right? Or after 6 months, you want to visit your concepts in concepts in whatever particular elective that you have enrolled for, right? If that is something that you're looking to do, this happens through the scholarship. Along with the tuition waiver, what you're also getting is you're getting a lifetime access to Insaid Learning Center. What happens through this lifetime access to Insaid Learning Center is that even after the program ends, you get to keep all the material, all the class recordings, all the presentations, all the assignments, everything with you, right? So that even if you want to visit it, as long as you're not sharing it unethically with anyone else, you have access to all of this. And this is very important to us, because we believe that your learning should not stop only during the program. It should even continue after the program. And this is what you will be getting along with the scholarship, that you will get lifetime access to Insaid Learning Center, right? Let me know if this is a bonus, or this is a bonus scholarship bonus that you loved, and let me know if you can see how this will be useful to you, right? Does this seem exciting, and can you guys visualize how this will help you beyond the program? After you're done with the program, can you guys see how this will actually help you even after the program, right? Awesome, very good. Next is something that is important for working professionals, and something that is that a lot of you might be interested in. But in the meantime, let me just welcome all of the people who have registered, because I have not been able to welcome anyone. Just Anil Kumar, welcome. Shivam Saxena, welcome. Atul, welcome. Vrishali, welcome. Prasad, welcome. Naveen, welcome. Satish, welcome. Hemant, welcome. And it would be great if you guys can introduce yourself, and if you guys can let me know a little bit about you, and which company do you currently work for, and which program are you planning to join? January GCD or GCD AI, or February GCD or February GCD AI, yeah, or CDF. Even if it is CDF, it's totally fine. Apart from that, as I said, here's what you're getting. You're getting 70% tuition waiver funded by Insaid Vision Scholarship. You get all the electives and all the optionals, and you get a free lifetime access to GCD or GCDI course material on Insaid Learning Center. Since we have thousands of students, we have to pay a lot in server cost, but our endeavor is that our students should be able to access all of the material even after the course ends, right? So that's the two other bonuses along with the scholarship that you are getting in the GCD program through this Insaid Vision Scholarships, whose aim is to attract the brightest and the best professionals out there with the potential to become data leaders of tomorrow, right? Last is something that is useful once you have started your program. Those of you who are looking at the GCD AI program especially would find this very helpful. So I want you to pay close attention if you're looking at a GCDI program, right? During the GCDI program, those of you who are looking at doing GCD AI program, how many of you thought that what if after say 5 months, if I want to take a break? How many of you had that question? What if after 4 months I wanted to take a break? What if after 6 months I wanted to take a break, right? So in the GCDI program, especially because it is of longer duration, you will be able to do that, right? You can defer your program once free of cost, right? What that means is, if you're joining the January GCD program and you start your program, and later because of any reason you're not able to give enough time, you can take one batch transfer free of cost from say January to February or February to March. So the batch transfer fee is waived off, and this is something that will really help you in terms of, in case any other in case any other thing comes up in your life, you know that you don't have to worry, because you can take a free batch transfer once, right? So does this seem helpful? And can you guys see that how does this help you in terms of, if you want a break anytime, obviously after every term in the GCD and the GCDI program, you will get a break. You will get a 1 week break. After every 6 months, you will get a couple of weeks break. But if you see that you're falling behind and the class is moving ahead, so you can always take a free batch transfer, right? Okay, so let me just recap all of this that you're getting along with the scholarship. You get 70% tuition waiver funded by Insaid Vision Scholarship. You get all the electives and all the optional, something that will really make it super useful for you in terms of being able to do all the electives. You get free lifetime access to Insaid Learning Center, where you'll have all the course material for GCD programs, CDF and CDF, GCD and GCD AI. Free lifetime access to ILC is not available on CDF, although. all these benefits that I'm talking about, all electives, all optional, free lifetime access and free batch transfer, it is not available on, let me just show you, it is not available on CDF, it is available on GCD AI and GCD, right? CDF is just a program to help you get started with the least one, and after that you can upgrade to GCD at a later point of time. Yeah. All right, so the link is open. It's already 1:12 by my clock. I'm now available to take whatever questions you might have, and the link is active right now. So just go ahead and reserve your seat. Take out your debit card, credit card, UPI, whatever you're comfortable with. And right now, you just have to reserve your seat for the January 5th GCD, GCDI, or the February 2nd GCD, GCDI program or CDF program, whatever you want to go for. Once you have done that, come back in the chat window and just introduce yourself, and I would love to know more about you, and I would love to know a little bit about your background as well. Yeah. Okay. Now, next question is that how many? Okay. Next question is, let me just read out the next question. What will be the class timings? The class timings will be always in the mornings, Saturday, Sunday, 8 to 10 or 11 to 1. For example, one term might be in the morning 8 to 11, and another term might be 11 to 1. It will totally depend on basically which term that is. But mostly we ensure that we conduct classes on the weekends itself. But there might be some terms where one class is on the weekend and one class is on the weekend. Yeah. Okay. I hope that resolved your questions. Yeah. All right. Now, how is this? How will I get prepared for the program? Sunindra has this question. Okay, Shraddha, your questions are going to be answered. My apologies if they have not been answered. We are with you. Don't worry. I know that a lot of questions are coming in, so don't worry. I am here taking your questions, so you don't need to worry about that, right? If you can copy paste your question, I would answer that for sure, right? And my apologies to all of you as well. In case your question is not answered, Vikas is answering all of your questions. Don't worry, and I am also taking your questions, right? Yeah. Okay. So this scholarship is available for those of you who are there in the training right now with me. So this is a webinar exclusive webinar training exclusive scholarship that we have reserved for those of you who are in today's webinar. Yeah. Okay. Now, how will this pre-program prep help me? I'm from testing background. Now, let me just show you the starter kits that will help you prepare for the program, right? These starter kits are very, very powerful, and a lot of effort has been put into these starter kits. Let me know if you can see this My Classroom on our website. Let me know if you are able to see the My Classroom once you are a GCD student. Once you have completed both the steps by 30th of November, then you will get access to these starter kits, Statistics Starter Kit and Python Starter Kit. So let me just show you what is there in Python Starter Kit. So in Python Starter Kit, what you have is you have all the very basics of Python that you will need for data science. Whether it be installing Python, whether it be the basic building blocks of Python, and we have recorded each one of these videos, keeping a student in mind from a non-programming background. And all these or this entire starter kit has been made by our chief data scientist Suchit Majumdar, and along with the videos, watching the videos, you can even download the practice notebooks from here. So once you go through the Python starter kit, what you would have is you would have that confidence that I can program well. And that confidence is really, really important. And that's the whole reason of giving the starter kit before the program starts, so that you are super confident about about Python and about statistics. And for us also, it becomes really, really useful and helpful in the sense that all of the students are at the same page when they start on January 5th. So a student from a programming background, he should not or she should not have an unfair advantage as compared to other students. Yeah. Okay. Next is is the statistics starter kit. So if you can see the statistics starter kit, uh, the benefit of the statistics starter kit is this, that through the statistics starter kit, you would have, through the statistics starter kit, you can revise all of your concepts of basic statistics that you will be requiring for data science. And that's how it helps you revise all of your concepts of data science in a step-by-step manner. You will be going through all of this statistics starter kit in the month of December as well. Yeah. So go ahead. The link is active for you to register yourself for the GCD and the GCDI program. You just have to pay the registration fee so that we can reserve your scholarship for you. And since this is a limited fund, since this is a limited fund of 15 crore, and since a lot of students are already enrolled, this scholarships keeps on reducing with time, right? So earlier it was 75%, now it is 70%. Very soon it is going to be 50%, right? So it just reduces as the number of students increase. Yeah. We will ensure, and for those of you who are here, then it is 70% tuition waiver on the scholarship, on the fee for any of the program, GCD, CDF, and GCDI, right? So go ahead, and if you have any questions, Pooja, I would love if you can just copy paste your question again, and I would love to take your questions. Okay. Next is, will be all the recordings will be shared after every class? Yes, don't worry. All the recordings will be shared after the class. We have a very, very active student teaching assistants team. And what the teaching assistants do is not only help you in the class along with the faculty, but beyond the classroom or classrooms as well, you are able to connect also. So let me know if you want, if you can see the community.insaid.co page. Can you give me a quick yes if you can see this page, community.insaid.co? I will help you understand why, when I say the Insaid community can help you crack any job, why this is such a powerful platform, right? So you would see community.insaid.co. We have different city groups. For example, we have, and all of these are, none of this is our initiatives. This is like discussion group of meetup group of Delhi NCR November 17 batch that started, right? Similarly, you have Chennai groups, you have Mumbai group, you have Pune groups, you have Bangalore groups. So essentially the goal is for our students is to be able to meet each other face to face, and this is one of the initiatives that is driven by them. And since in each of the cities you have a lot of Insaid students, GCD students, you can organize and you can participate in all of these groups as well, so that you have face-to-face interaction with others. If you want to see profiles of more of our students, you would be able to see this. You just go to this Data Leaders of Tomorrow thread, and you would see, you'd be surprised by the number of people who are just like you in the IT industry, who have, say, 12, 7, 8 years, 15 years of experience, who are consultant. For example, Sibraj Banerjee is a consultant working with Capgemini. Ashish is a senior lead for Zensar. You have Vinod, who works with Citibank. You have Pranav, who works with Cognizant. You have Anurag, who works with CDK Global. You have Purnima, who works with Entity Data. You have Alok, who works with Citibank, with TCS. And essentially every company that you can think of, as I said, you have a GCD student in every company. You have hundreds of these introductions of our students here so that you can see. And as I said, we have students who are not only who are from almost all top companies, and that's a big platform for you guys to network with each other that is provided at Insaid. Yeah. Okay, so does this sound exciting? And are you guys excited about the whole different things that that are available for you to leverage on? Let me know if all of these things, you can see that how all of these things are designed in such a way that student interaction and learning is the best. Yeah. Okay. So Pooja writes. So Pooja, your question wasn't copied, so you'll have to copy your questions because we are not getting your questions. We are reading each question. Yeah. Okay. Sheelu has a question. How much fee is charged for upgrade? There is a nominal upgrade fee of 3,000 rupees for an upgrade from GCD to GCD AI and from CDF to GCDF. So whichever program you want to upgrade to, you can easily do that upgrade using the course upgrade option. And that's the whole reason we have these upgrade options, because we totally understand that some of you would want to start, for example, with GCD because it's low risk, low investment, and would want to later upgrade to GCDI, and some of you would want to start with CDF and would later want to upgrade to GCD or GCDI. That option also is easily available for you guys. Yeah. All right. So now the question is, do we need, what kind of computer do we need for the program? You don't need any special computer for the program. All you need is a 4 GB of computer. All you need is a computer with 4 GB of RAM. And for the GCD AI program, you will need to work on, we will be giving you GPUs and TPUs. So we will be providing you GPUs and TPUs through Google Colab, and all of the practice along with TensorFlow and Keras, we will be doing it on a cloud environment. Yeah, does that make sense? Okay, so the link is active now, guys. Let me know how many of you have not been able to register so far. Let me just welcome a lot of people have registered, and just want to welcome each one of you who have not been able to. Welcome Raj, welcome Nasir, welcome Suman, welcome Sudhir, welcome Animesh, welcome. And I would love to know more about your profiles and which city are you joining in from and which company and profile are you guys in. Let me know in the chat window so that I can welcome each one of you individually. Yeah. All right. Next is will we be getting recordings of the classes? I've already answered that question. You will be getting recordings of the classes. You don't need to worry about that. All the classes are recorded and all the recordings will be made available to you. You don't need to worry about the recordings not being available, right? All the recordings are made available to you. Yeah. Another question is that I'm confused between GCD and GCD AI. Okay, I'm getting a time alert that it's 1:26, and let me know how many of you have not been able to register. Just type wait in the chat window. Wait in the chat window. Otherwise, we'll start winding up the session. If you have not been able to reserve your scholarship, just let me know in the chat window. If you are in the process of registering, just type wait in the chat window so that I can wait for you. Otherwise, I'm getting a time alert that we need to close the session, right? So Soumya, Parikshit, right, wait. All right. I'll just wait for a couple of minutes more. And in the meantime, you guys can go ahead and register for whichever program you think you want to go for. Yeah. The next steps are that once you register today, you'll get a call from our admissions team either today itself or on Monday. And whatever questions you have, you can ask directly to the admissions team. So it's not that right now you're just registering and after that there'll be just no interaction. You'll be getting a call from our admissions team today itself, right? Or on Monday, most likely on Monday, because Saturday, Sundays are a little busy because all the programs happen on the weekends. By Monday, you'll get a call from academic services team and from the admissions team, and you can whatever questions you have, you can ask to the senior admissions officer. Yeah. Okay. Next is Sarita writes, I've registered for GCD. I want to go for GCD AI later. Sarita, yes, you can go. We'll give you multiple options during the program. We'll let you know when you can take a course upgrade to GCD AI. You can do that, right? You can absolutely do that. Yeah. Don't worry about that part. That course upgrade, the whole reason we have these different tiers is this itself, that at Insaid, what we realized is that a lot of students, all of the programs are meant for different individuals, right? For example, if you do not have the time to go through a 1-year program, start with a 6-month program. If you do not have the time to go through a 6-month program, start with a 3-month program, right? Once you start with a 3-month program, then you can later take an upgrade to 6 months, and then you can later take an upgrade to 1 year, right? But if you are fully focused, on starting with the GCD, and you know that this is a program that can help you achieve your career goals, right? GCD is the program directly that you should start with. Okay. Next question is this 3,000 fee refundable? No, this is not a refundable fee, because this is against the registration and the seat blocking for that particular batch. So this is not a refundable fee. And we believe that if you are anyway looking for refund, that means right now you might not be ready to start the program. So this program right now is for people who want to start the program, who are serious about transitioning, and who don't want to delay transitioning into data science and machine learning anymore. You don't want to be one of those individuals who is learning data science, machine learning, and AI in the year 2020 and 2021. By the mid of 2019 or by the end of 2019, you want to be able to transition, because if it is later than that, there's going to be enough competition in the market. Yeah. So from your career standpoint, the earlier you can get into a field, the better it is, because the competition is lesser, the opportunities are more, and your chances of going to the top are even higher. Yeah. All right, so let me just welcome a couple of people more, and then I'll take a couple of questions more. Let me just welcome Tanmay. Tanmay, can you quickly introduce yourself? That will be great. Let me just welcome Vaishali. Let me just welcome Arun. Let me just welcome Vishal. Welcome everyone, and super excited to have you in one of the cohorts. Let's keep on introducing yourself in the chat window. I would love to know about you individually at a time. Yeah. Okay. Next question is, I'm not from a programming background. What should I start with? If you're not from a programming background, you should start with either GCD or CDF. You should not go for GCD AI, because GCD AI is not for you right now. Start with GCD or start with CDF. See how your learning is going. If you're enjoying your learning, then you can obviously take an upgrade to GCD or GCD AI after that, right? So you always have that option to take an upgrade to GCD or GCDI at a later point of time. Yeah. Okay. How will we be interacting? So I'm getting a second time alert that we are very late. Let me just answer a few questions, because I have not still answered all of the questions, right? And the questions seem to be non-stop. Let me just answer a couple of questions more. Want to know more? Swapnil has a question. Want to know more information about Capstone project? Very good. Vikas, can you post the link to the Capstone project to the entire brochure? We have the most detailed curriculum available. This is the brochure for the GCD program and the GCD AI program. You can download the brochure, and if you want to go through the topics as well, you can go through the topics as well. So we have done it in the greatest depth possible. This is the brochure that you will have access to once you go to our website. Once you visit insaid.co, you can download the brochure from the course page of that particular program. For example, if you want to go for GCD, download the course brochure for GCD. If you want to go for example, let's say GCD AI, you want to go for this, right? Then what you do is you just go to GCD AI and then you download the brochure from here, right? So you can download the brochure, and you can also download the detailed syllabus. The detailed syllabus will give you a good idea about what the program will cover. For example, here you can enter your details and you'll get your detailed syllabus, right? Yeah, here is the detailed syllabus for GCD AI, and it's a beautifully crafted 20-page detailed syllabus. You can go through the entire syllabus and see the approach and see if this approach will help you. I can promise you that this approach that we have taken in the GCD program is something that will really help you master these concepts. For example, even when you are teaching your particular case study, you will be learning all of the concepts using real world case studies. And how these real world case studies help you do is, when it comes to implementation, you'll always want to implement things in real world, right? So whether it is machine learning, whether it be data analysis, whether it be anything else, you should be able to do that through machine learning, through real world case studies. And this curriculum will help you understand how what approach the GCD program takes. Yeah. Okay. Next question is can I pay the fee in EMIs? Yes, you can pay the fee in EMIs, and as I said, we have credit card EMIs available. You can go for any of the credit cards. I've already shown you, but once you will be completing your enrollment, you can go for credit card EMIs as well, right? So you can go for credit card EMIs, and those credit card EMIs will help you split your entire fee into EMIs option directly on the website itself. Yeah. Okay. Can I refer my friend? I want to do it along with my friend. Just drop an email at admissions@insaid.co, and with marking your friend, and that should be good. That will be good enough, right? Let me just welcome a couple of people more. Welcome Santosh, welcome Veer, welcome Sohan, welcome Amit Prakash, right? Can you guys introduce yourself and let me know a little bit about you, and which city are you from, and which program are you going for, which cohort are you going for in the chat window? Yeah. All right. Next question is next question is again regarding the program. What is the program duration for CDF? Okay. So with this, let me know first of all if all of your queries have been answered. Those of you who are saying that your queries are still not answered, let me know if your queries are answered, right? And if they're not answered, type in your query in the chat window, and I'd love to answer each one of your queries. Now, somebody has a question that I'm still not clear, should I go for CDF or GCD? If there is a confusion, go for CDF. If you have clarity, go for GCD. As simple as that. Because although 70% to 80% of our students are in GCD, right? But CDF is a very low risk, low investment type option, right? You just have 3 months, right? In 3 months, if you enjoy the program, you'll get an opportunity to take an upgrade at the end of first month, and you can take an upgrade to the GCD program later, right? So CDF is something that you can definitely start with, and then later you can take an upgrade to GCD. Yeah. What all tools will I be learning? You will be learning all the tools that you will require. And trust me, whenever I get that question, I always say that don't be focused on tools. If you're going to go get focused on the tools, you are not going to become a data scientist. As a data scientist, your focus should not be on tools. Your focus should be on the end result, right? That's what has to be focused on. Your focus should not be how can I do machine learning through Python and through R and through SAS. Your focus should be how can I implement linear regression to solve this problem. What are the various assumptions of linear regression? What kind of data set linear regression is good at? What kind of data set linear regression is bad at, right? So all of these questions are more important. Implementation part is more important. For example, if you see this case study logistic regression, it says predicting default cases in the banking industry. The use cases are more important than the tools. However, during the program, you will be learning Python, you will be learning R, you will be learning Tableau, you will be learning TensorFlow, you will be learning Keras. You will be learning all the tools that are required, right? At the same time, maintaining a balance between application and tools. Yeah. Okay. Next question is I have 18 years of work experience. Am I a little too old for the program? Trust me, you will be not the oldest. You will be among those people who are among the senior lot in the program. We have a lot of students with and you just need to go through our data leaders thread. You will have people with 10, 20, 15, 25 and even 28 years of experience. However, the average experience in the GCD program is anywhere from 7 years to 14 years. That's roughly the average experience in the GCD program, right? So if you see, for example, Arun currently works at Oracle, and Arun has 16 years of experience, right? So you would see a lot of people with in your experience category, so you don't need to worry whether you are experienced or not. Yeah. Okay. Next question is okay, I do not understand this question. How can we interact with you? I will always be available during the program as well. And also, if right now also you want to reach out to me, you can drop me an email at manav@insaid.co, and during the entire program, you will be taught by different faculty. Yes, that's another part that I have not been able to mention so far. One of the key differentiators of the GCD program is that we bring in different experts to teach different modules. What that means is that if today you are learning from me, you're enjoying the session. But if I keep on teaching you for entire 1 year, you'll get bored with me, right? Trust me, because nobody wants to hear from the same person saying the same thing. Yeah. What the approach the GCD program takes is that each of the terms are taught by different experts. For example, our chief data scientist Suchit Majumdar will be taking the first 2 terms of January batch and the first 2 terms of the February batch. Similar, then machine learning foundation is going to be taken by a senior data scientist at HCL. Then machine learning intermediate is going to be taken by another of our faculty who's a London-based data scientist. Essentially, the goal is to bring the best of the talent from best of the academicians, best of the industry experts, best of the students like you in the program, and to create a learning experience that is transformational for your career. Yeah. Okay. Next question is okay. I'm getting a time alert now. I hope all of you have been able to register, and let me know if okay. Ankit has a question. Do I need any prerequisite knowledge to join this program? You don't need to have any prerequisite knowledge to join this program. If you have knowledge of programming, that's a plus point. But whatever you will require, we will help you with that during the program, right? The GCD pre-program prep, in which you get Python statistics, Python starter kit and statistics starter kit. is designed to make you ready for the program. It's for people like you who want to, who possibly have entire December, and you would want to go through statistics starter kit and and Python starter kit, and that's something that is essentially for you, because you would want to complete all of this in the month of December. Yeah. Okay. Now let me know if there are any questions, because I would want to wind up the session, and I will just leave you with our coordinates. Anytime if you have any questions, just take a screenshot of this, because these are our coordinates of our admissions helpline number, and this is the email address at which you can also reach out to us: admissions@insaid.co. admissions@insaid.co. Reach out to us at admissions@insaid.co and at these coordinates. And if you have any questions, our admissions team will be happy to answer you. Now, one last question is, let me know if today's session, in what we did in today's session is we started from the very basics of data science. We looked at what is required to become a really good data scientist. We looked at some of those insights which helped us become really great, which will, whether it is Python, computer science, maths, inferential statistics, descriptive statistics,